S&P with the lower low, the first one, and obviously we know what's going on with the tariff news, or you have a little bit. We're going to cover it in great detail and why it's actually causing a lot more strife than people expect. You're going to have to deal with actually dealing with the facts here. It doesn't really matter what side of the aisle you're on. I'm just going to tell you that ahead of time. So if you're sensitive, it's probably not the video for you. If you see how this is heading out and you're trying to break out and then you can't, that's exactly what you need to be focused on here. You're seeing the lower low, and that lower low here, it's not great. I've seen great before. It doesn't look like this. If you drop this down to a 5, and just to point this out, I'm not saying we're falling off a cliff, but let's just jump into it, call it what it is. There's the VWAP from the peak, right? And then here we are Sunday night. You ran right to it and you got Matumbo'd. You ran into it, Matumbo. It's not rocket science, guys. The people that bought the top are like, get me out. They're just completely Amityville horroring this thing. They want to go. They don't want to stay. And they're seeing the headlines and they're not happy. I've seen people happy before. This isn't what they look like. So when we thought we were getting certainty, even if we didn't like the certainty, that certainty is going away. I do want to say things from my sense of this and looking at this from Saturday. I don't think anything major has changed. I actually think that there's a way to really profit from this. If we take a look at the SPY and we see how this is acting, the breadth of the market is the breadth of the market. That's not going to change overnight. Side note, while I'm thinking about it, if you are on the wait list to get into the community, please look for a letter today. There is a batch that is going out. It will go, you'll have 5 days, and then the community will close for a period of time for enrollment for at least 30 days because I talk to everybody that joins or give them the opportunity to. So if you are on that, great. If not, great. The wait list link is in description, and if I have time, I'll pin it. Let's go. So I don't see any issues here. Like, this isn't going to fall off a cliff in a night. And what we have here is the 5s near the highs, but this is the 5, the 20, the 50, the 200. I'm talking fast to pack it all in because there's a lot in this video. I want to go through 2 ways that you should be looking at trading this environment. I already covered that at the end. You'll get to it. But what you're seeing here is 61% on the 200-day. The 50-day is at 78%. The 20-day is at 80. Like, these are not numbers. These are not rookie numbers. You don't need to pump these numbers up. They're good numbers. So then when you look at NDX, you tried to break out. You fell down a little bit. I mean, it's not going to go up every day. But when you look at NDTH, which we've done, you're actually breaking out on this on Thursday and hitting highs. This is the 200-day on the NASDAQ 100. And I really think this is very important to get. What we want to see is we want to see strength. Are we seeing strength today? And the easiest way to do this is for us to click off all this for a second and just go take a real fast look at the sectors and sort by change on the day. So I have 11 of the major sectors there. And then over here as well, I have ones that I just find that I want to look at. The stocks, for example, I want to pay attention to, or block. I just want to see what's going on out there. Utilities was the only one that was up overall today. And I want to talk about why and get into the tariff. So let's do it. Now let's take a look at the headline so we can get a good sense of what exactly is going on here, because this is the stuff that really did rattle the market. And not in the sense of, oh, we're going to fall off a cliff, but just the level of uncertainty that we're dealing with. Treasury Secretary says countries without trade deals will see tariffs boomerang to April rates by August 1st, meaning either go along with us and agree to what we agreed with, or that 90-day pause, those April 2nd rates, that's what's kicking in August 1st. Now, the market did not like that at all, but we're not really selling down a lot. I do think it makes sense to understand the language. Sunday, the U.S. will revert to steep country-by-country tariff rates at the beginning of August, weeks after the tariff pause is set to expire. Futures opened down last night. President's going to send letters to some of our trading partners. If you don't move things along, then on August 1st, you'll boomerang back to your April 2nd tariff levels. State of the Union. So I think we're going to see a lot of deals very quickly. That is not exactly what's happening here. And I think it's important to just take a step back. We had a 90-day deadline, expires on Wednesday. People thought they were going to get some kind of, hey, this is where we stand, this is what's going on. But that's not what's going. We're getting this country to renegotiate eye-watering tariff levels. He laid out April 2nd. He paused those rates a week later by setting a new 90-day deadline to renegotiate them. That deadline's going to expire Wednesday. There's basically a new deadline. But I said, well, it's not a new deadline. We're saying this is when it's going to happen. I think the language is really a problem here. And I think the messaging is really a problem here as well. And what you're seeing is just that I think you're seeing a lot of mixed messaging. Let's leave it at that. Referred to the first deadline as raising question about whether that still stands. Spokesman did not provide comment. So whether the April would resume on the 9th or the 1st, people really are not very cognizant of this. And then we have some other things that got thrown into this suck salad. But the president recently was given shifts a description of how the deadline is. We can extend it, we can shorten it. Okay, that's very helpful. Shortly after midnight Friday, Trump referred to an August 1 timeline. Reporters, April 2nd, will resume the start of August. And then we get the summary. The summary is going to just tell us that, hey, higher tariffs are going to kick in August 1st. They're not going to kick in July. Letters are going out today, which noon has passed. Slaps a new 10% tariff on BRICS companies. Bassett says deadline could be extended for some companies past August 1st. Some countries are foot dragging on deals. I wonder why. Here's the thing about this, and I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. Here's the problem. For 90 days, you just went out there and you're India and you just negotiated in good faith. And then there's a new 10% tariff on BRICS right out of the rip, just like that. 48 hours before this thing is supposed to be wrapped up. This kind of uncertainty is why the market's doing what it's doing. The market's going up despite this uncertainty, not because of this uncertainty. I think that's very important because people are just stepping away and waiting for this to be done. I do believe when this is finished, unless it's an absolute boondoggle, that we do wind up grinding back higher. But right now, it's very clear we were set to go higher. We were set for some kind of finality, but we're not getting that. We're likely to significantly clearer by the end of the week. President announcing United States tariff letters will begin today, as we stated, but an array of parallel comments from the president on down have also underlined to the market that this week is unlikely to provide any finality to the deal. Market came into Friday going, we're finally going to get this behind us. We are not going to get this behind us. And we're not going to get this behind us by August 1st either. What I would suggest is that you view this a little differently, but let's go through this. I'm going to wrap up these slides and then I'll tell you how we've been playing this in the community and how I think that you may want to look at this. That's because even Trump talks have been largely done on July 9th, appear primed to continue unabated in the weeks ahead. Wide array of deals around this planned out. The financial markets understandably may be confused. IGF Investments noted letter to clients. Get used to this. Agreed. Get used to this. A lot of these deals that were supposedly done, that were supposed to be, were good, and we didn't have to worry about July 9th, they're not really done. They have frameworks around them, but they're not done. And so, but to think that this is going to get done in 2 more weeks or 3 more weeks is kind of laughable. So what they'll do again is they'll either extend it or they won't, and some countries will get hit and others will not. What's going to happen here is that you're going to get inflation because of this. There's no other way around it. And that's why certain companies are lifting, specifically auto manufacturers, because production going into the U.S. is actually going to slow. It's not going to increase because they can't increase production of cars, European cars, into this country because they don't even know what they're supposed to charge for them. 1 week it's one thing, another week it's another thing. This is not me being on one side of the aisle or another, but think about yourself as a car manufacturer. That's why you're seeing names like Carvana go higher, because their inventories are going to be worth more. Their used cars are going to be worth more because all of a sudden they don't know how many cars they're going to bring into the country. And this does create a little bit of inflation, which does mean that if this keeps keeping up, we're not getting a rate cut at all until this is wrapped up. That's where my head is, but you never know. Back and forth, Treasury Secretary Bessent promised Monday several trade deals would be announced in the next 48 hours. TikTok. We've had a lot of people change their tune in terms of negotiation. And I think that it's very helpful. So Yahoo did this group and they put this all together. And I think it's very, very helpful to look at this. Now let's look at this grouping. It's the top 10. Rate announced on Liberation Day, not available. Overall rate expected, 0 to 25%, depending on goods, 13%. When is this going to get wrapped up? August 1st? Could stretch into July 2026 when USMCA is up for renewal. China, we said 34% on Liberation Day. We're now at 30 after July, facing an August deadline after a 90-day pause. So they're up for the pause. And why? Well, I'm not going to go through all these, but where I'm going with this is we don't even know where we are with Europe. So when people are out there saying, oh, this is wrapped up, it's done, negotiations to avoid 50% tariffs that Trump has threatened, we don't have anything set here in writing with the EU. We don't have anything set with India right now, despite hearing that it's all wrapped up, it's all done. Even we had some issues today with Japan. These are not all done. And when you start looking at the sheet, it's kind of interesting because right now, nobody's really done that's in the top 10. India's out there and they're saying, well, maybe we can get this done by August 1st, but they got hit with BRICS today. Mexico, they could go out to 2026 because of USMCA, just like Canada. And that puts you in a different position where new tariff rate for the nation on July 7th. Maybe this is what they're getting, maybe not. But I don't really see something out there that really just locks all this down. I have frameworks, But that's really all I have. And again, this is not a partisan issue. This is an issue that is just overhanging the market and causing a tremendous amount of stress. And you can actually profit from this. And let's get into that. Now, there's two different ways to profit from this. Obviously, we have Elon, who decided to start a new party because why not? But what I'm going to show you is what exactly is happening. And this is really where people, in my opinion, are making huge mistakes off the open because the game's changed. And you can see the game's changed. So we have these opening rips. And I just want to show everybody this. If you drop a pin to here, and we look at that opening rip, and that gets you right to that 249.80. And just look at the day and look how much time you spent below this versus up that. So if you bought at the open, you had about a minute to get out, and then you had about 5 or 6 minutes throughout the day to get out at any level over that 1 minute bar. So when we start looking at these strategies, does that make sense? Is that a good strategy for us getting involved in the day? And people will say, well, it's just that one name. Okay. How about something like Oracle that just gaps down after hitting highs and falls apart? What we're seeing is opportunity based upon the fear of retail, not understanding what they're supposed to be doing. That's the first thing. That's the first area where you can make money. And I'll give you a great example of how we did this today. So this is Circle. Now, everybody knows what's going on with stablecoins, or they should have a clue at this point. I'll cover it in greater detail on a Saturday, but I have 400 different levels in here, obviously, and I'm not going to clean them all out because I want them. But you can see the DTL, which is your downward trend line right here from the rip, just up from here over. People say, don't use the wick, use the body. You should do what you're comfortable with. So then you kind of go here and you just kind of clone this together and you'll find that you have this, what? You're going to have this trend that's sitting right in here. And at the same time, you know that you need to hold your previous closes. Just quick rule of thumb, guys. If you can't hold your previous close from a Friday or a Thursday into the Monday, you have a problem because that means you lost institutional support. Friday closes to Monday or Thursday, whenever we close on the week, they are the most significant closes of the week, bar none, because that's when the institutions get involved on a higher percentage basis. Anyway, we've gone over that in great detail. Anyway, you see where you're at, you flip, you go. This is providing a huge opportunity. How about the person that bought the 1 minute orb? Now, how about the person that bought in limbo because they're doing, these kinds of trades where they're looking at the market and go, oh, I buy when it closes over VWAP. How's your VWAP trade working out? Not very well, right, in this market. This is retail, this is institutional, right? And there is a huge difference in understanding where institutions are buying right now and retail. And if you're buying retail while you have the tariff news, you're going to have a real problem on your hands. Watch how we did this trade and where our target was during the day.
You're right back to where you closed. You're trying to hold that level. You can hold here. But know in a minute, you're either going to hold there or you're not. I like these wicks. I got 2 of them. It's going to cost me $1.50 to see if I'm right. And if I'm not, I'll kick it. I was fast. Trimmed. I was pulling a little bit out in case I'm wrong. It pays for the stop. I pulled out like 20% of it because if I can get like $1.50 on those kinds of moves, it'll pay for a portion of that stop and reduces my risk. Then I just can stay in the thing. See if I can come back all the way back up now. Now I don't have to do anything with it. Maybe I nailed it. I'm up like 2 now. I'm not interested in 2. I'm trying to get 8. I trimmed right there. See how you couldn't get through that opening? I trimmed into that. It wasn't a lot. It was less than 20%. If you did that for the day trade, you should be selling into that open here. If you can't get over it, you should be selling into that. Your drop dead, if you're just trying to not ride the waves all day, is really 90-50 at this point. Go circle, you're gone. We nailed that. I probably should pull something out up here, so I will. I won't go past break even now. That would be my stop. I think it's like 89 and change. See how the volume's kicking up in here and they're buying up in here? The volume's actually increasing as it's going up. There you go, new high of the day. Now I just want to watch how it acts at that level and see if it pushes, but I'm getting the volume, so I'm getting what I want. And now we've caught the entire move. We just caught 10 points. Trimmed. Up 10, nothing to do. Up 13 now. Really what you want to do there is just make your decision. Are you willing to go back? If so, how far? If you close below like that 240 level and you're in from like where we were back here, do you really want to go for the ride back down? Probably not. The one thing that's got me a little concerned is that here's your bearish engulfing and then you hit and then since that low, you're not breaking it. That bar is in charge. We always look for our control bars. That bar is like saying, hey, you're not going any further. That's all you're getting. And so you tried to pop over, boom, rejection. Do I really want to hold it if I break that? There are questions you have to answer for yourself.
Now, that is us live trading this during the day and trying to find a way in. Right now, that is the first thing you should be doing, finding where institutional support levels are, using those as your barometer. Anything else, any of the retail kind of stuff where, oh, I'm going to use VWAP, oh, I'm going to use my orb trades, they are going to have a lower probability in this kind of market right now. This gave you an excellent opportunity to get in this at one point. I think we closed up from here. I think you're up $17 or $18 from here. I don't own it anymore. Candidly, you know what? I am going to do it. Here we go. I'm going to get rid of them all. It's done. Can't take it back. No takesy backsies. So what we're going to do is just show you right here. See the lift into the end? I don't care about this right now because I don't know what kind of mean tweet I'm going to get tomorrow. And the mean tweet trade is very, very real. And they know it in the room because I keep talking about it over and over again. Save your powder for a mean tweet. And when they come, you can do very, very well. So this is a great example of that. Everyone's all giddy. Everybody has to get in because Coinbase, yay, stable coins, right? And you saw how we just traded the same theme with stable coins. So what we're doing is we're just watching the world go by. All of a sudden, mean tweet hits, and then we're just sitting there watching. And you can see it right in here. And you can see the time, you can see the time and everything. And that's that 1222 level. Now, just so you can see it, here's the timestamp. Here's where the tariff news hit, mean tweet. What do? Went out there and bought the stock. And this is my sausage-like fingers typing where I'm trimming at and then break even. Thank you very much. And I'm referring to the private videos that I put out for the community and the private pre-market I did where I'm just like, buy the mean tweets. Oh, we got mean tweeted? Print it. Because eventually, what's he going to do? And I know this is going to annoy all the people, all the huggers in particular. He's going to taco. He's going to say, I changed my mind on that, right? And all of a sudden, he's going to be like, well, we're going to do this, and then we're going to do that. Just like we did with July 9th. There is no feasible way that he's going to be able to get these deals done in the time frame that he's saying. So use that to your advantage. Understand when he says something, it's probably not going to be the be-all, end-all. Meaning, if a deal's done, it's really not done. If he's saying he's going to hit something with a lever and really hammer them, he's really not. And that's exactly what he's been doing, and he's been using it extremely effectively, but eventually it's going to diminish. And what we're seeing here is we're dropping in basis points. We're not dropping in percentages anymore. And I really don't care about the partisan politics of it all and why he's doing it. We're here to make money off of it. That's it. That's all it's good for. So when you drop from 60 down to 55 or 54 and 3/4, know where your supports are, take advantage of it. What you don't want to do is you don't want to be buying these breakouts and assuming that you're back, back in the day where everything's going to, just break out. Back in the day, you're not there anymore. So retail buying these kinds of orb trades or looking at them, you're just going to get chewed apart. And I'm just going to walk through it again so that you guys get it, because the strategies that you were using a week ago or 2 weeks ago, they are not going to work now. They are not going to work. You're buying this off the orb. Maybe after it closes here, you're saying, oh, I'm buying it because it's over VWAP. How's that working? Right? It's not going to work the same way, not in this kind of environment. So what you need to do is different tools in your toolbox for different times. The market right now is going to look like this. It's going to be wild and it's going to be all over the place. So what I would suggest that you do is when you get these peaks, do use a VWAP, drop it on there, and it's going to tell you where the most pain is. Everybody that bought here, they have the most pain. Look what happened when we tried to get up there at 12:15 today. We got mean tweeted, fell apart, came to the previous close, held the previous close, which means we have what? Institutional support. Okay, we can use that to our favor and go from there, right? We can use that. And I'm not saying that there's not trades out there in this market that are worth more than just picking up pennies, but you're seeing the speculative stuff run. And that's never good. Like the ASST today, a bunch of people were trading this in the room. This thing goes from like 4 to 10. You never know when the party ends, but eventually the party's going to end. It boils down to the same way when you see things like, oh, well, Tesla's bad, so we should buy Rocket Labs. Yeah, you'll find deals like this, but really what you're seeing is off the open, was that the trade? Not really, no. Where was that trade? And when you see it, you can't unsay it. It's like, look at it. But it's the same thing. Oh, I'm going to buy the 1 minute orb because I'm over the VWAP. Again, how'd that work out for you? Not very well. Who made money? The person that knew where the institutional level was on Friday and took advantage of that and waited for the turn, bought there, and then traded it out, and then knew that anything above here was probably going to be a problem because you had all these people that were in from the open. And it pretty much was until the end of the day. Now, maybe we get more American Party stuff from Tesla, and then maybe that leads to more people loving Rocket Labs. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to make that leap, but they have made that leap here. And it's fine. It is what it is. But there's two different ways to enter that trade. One was really successful. The other was not. If you focus on that stuff, you'll do exceptionally well. For me, looking at what's going on here with the sectors, I don't really have a problem with any of this. You broke out on the SOX. It looks fine. If I look at ASOX, I'm not really even making past Wednesday's low, which is the AI semiconductor. Take a look at IGV. I have an inside day. So I have all-time highs on IGV, which is extended tech software, and I have an inside day. It's not really the end of the world when you start looking at the major indexes. XLC is rolling over, but Meta and some of these other areas, they look okay. They don't look great. Google does not look fantastic, and that's in that space. But then you start looking at XLK, and the real lean on XLK we know is Apple and what else? It's also Microsoft, right? But Microsoft looks fantastic, by the way. But Apple, now they're doing something different with their screen, and that went over like a can of worms. But that's another really great segue here. Look what they're doing to people. Oh, we're going to run you up, and here's your 1 minute orb, so you better get in right away. They all get in, they pile in, can't get in fast enough, and then it breaks. Above the VWAP, the 1 minute orb, and congratulations, you had about 30 seconds before your hopes and dreams were smashed. And this is exactly what we're talking about here. When you see this happen, and you go back to those key levels that we're talking about and go, all right, well, where did we close? Oh, you closed right here? Oh, you can't even hold where the close was? There's no reason to go near it because institutions are walking away from it. If you watch this, especially in this kind of market, it'll tell you exactly what people are thinking. The last thing that I would say is to start looking at some of these other sectors. I do think they look great. I do think you're going to get some weight on you now with the home builders a little bit, because it's very clear that if tariffs don't go away, I don't know how he's cutting rates. I truly don't know how that's going to happen. So why we do see a lot of buying in the KRE space, and you're not, which is the regionals, and you're not really falling apart. You're not. And the XLF, the financials, they're not really falling apart. But this is that crack of, okay, we were buying into some kind of semblance that tariffs were going to be solved, and now we have this, and they're not. If you are on the wait list for the community, make sure that you look for a letter going out today or later this week. It will be open for 5 days if you're on the wait list. If not, get on the wait list. And then after that, it will be closed for at least 30 days to get in there. That is it.